sometimes it's good to get out of the groove that we're normally in, and especially with teachings. And so I recently took the opportunity to, with Venable's permission, to take a teaching from a Kagyu teacher, a Kempo. Um, and it was very, I think, invigorating for my practice in some ways to hear a teaching that's very much a part of our own tradition, but coming in a kind of a slightly different perspective. And that is looking at the four thoughts that turn the mind to the Dharma, which is a foundational practice in the Kagyu tradition, but of course it is in our tradition as well. It's just not necessarily emphasized in that order as much as they do. One of the things that he said is that, it's a quote, "Although cared for by a spiritual mentor, if I don't listen to teachings and take the opportunity I have right now, it's like dying of thirst in a place of water." Well, that stopped my mind right there, because here I am with fountains of Dharma, just flowing from two teachers who can give it in such clarity and beauty and wisdom. And if I'm not drinking this Dharma and really imbibing it and letting it nourish me regularly, it is like dying of thirst in a place full of water. So I share that as a reminder for those of you who might want to stick that on your own puja table. And then he said something that also stopped me. He said, nowadays it is hard to find pure practitioners. Okay, why? It comes down to not having integrated the four thoughts that turn your mind towards the Dharma. That seems so simple. It comes down to have not integrated the four thoughts that turn the mind to the Dharma. That's what makes us a pure practitioner. So what are those four thoughts? First of all, and this says in the Lojong text, we practice these thought training teachings all the time. The first preliminary involves contemplating the significance and rarity of the freedoms and fortunes that we have in this life. Contemplating how precious this opportunity is right now. Contemplating the fact that if I am not doing my practice, it's like dying of thirst in a place that's filled with water. So this reflection every day on the importance of the fact that it is extremely difficult to get the kind of life that we have right now. They don't come easily. Just because we have one doesn't mean that they come automatically, that it will come automatically in the next life, that it came automatically before. Somebody before me worked super hard to get this opportunity. And the question I can ask myself almost every day is, am I paying this forward? Am I paying this life forward to the next one? The second preliminary, or the second of the four thoughts that turn the mind to Dharma, is also to remember, and this won't last. Death comes at any moment. We know death is certain. We don't know when it comes. And so the time to practice Dharma is not tomorrow. It's not next week. It's not when it's clearer on my schedule, but actually this very moment and every single moment. The third thought that turns the mind to the Dharma then is then to immediately also think about the cause and result of actions. That every single thought I do, every word I say, every action I do with my body is leaving an imprint that will have a result. Different kinds of imprints, different weights of actions and so forth lead to different weights of result. But every single moment is important and will lead to what's coming next for me. The fourth one is to meditate then on the miseries of cyclic existence, on the fact that the amount of energy that I spend throughout the day looking for a little sense pleasure, or looking for a little praise, or looking to get somebody out of my way that's in my way for what I want, all of those things that my good reputation, material gain, new shoes, for goodness sake, all the things that I spend my time chasing after have nothing to do with reflecting on actually the fact that all conditioned phenomena are impermanent and are in the nature of dukkha. And so to integrate these four thoughts, fully in my mind as a way of being in the world is the only obstacle to having a pure practice. It sounded so simple, It was so familiar, and yet somehow hearing it, maybe just in a different context, it was like a little bit of cold water. How thirsty am I in a place that's full of water? How focused am I on, moment by moment, on the things that really lay the foundation for what I aspire for the most? How easily I am distracted by this little bit of feedback or somebody else's comment or this little dilemma over here. It's not that tending to the world isn't important, but that to hold these four thoughts that turn the mind to the Dharma, why they remind us what the Dharma is doing to help hold us back from our afflictions, hold us back from our suffering, and to move forward. And that's the only basis really upon which I can develop bodhicitta. If I don't practice these four, where's my bodhicitta coming from? It's, it's a fantasy in the sky. So I was so grateful to have that. And also, we say it with our three principal aspects of the path. Lama Tsongkhapa says it right there. By contemplating the freedoms and fortunes so difficult to find and the fleeting nature of your life, reverse the clinging to this life. By repeatedly contemplating the infallible effects of karma and the miseries of cyclic existence, reverse the clinging to future lives. Right there, every day, a little bit of reflection as a foundation. His Holiness says very clearly, too, in multiple quotes, these four foundations are the things that build these thoughts that turn the mind are the thoughts that build the foundation for our practice. And when they're solid, when we have these like pillars upon which our practice rests, then my aspiration for bodhicitta actually has something to grow out of, something that's meaningful based on my understanding of what samsara is, why I would want to get out, and why I would want you to get out too. So it's a simple little moment, but I found these really powerful, and I wanted to share them with the community because it seems like we can't ever get quite enough of reminding again and again and again. I found this a really useful little bit of advice. At the end of every day, whenever we're doing our dedications or whatever you do at night, also pause and think, how much Dharma did I actually practice today? And how much did I spend time, energy, and thought pursuing the 8 worldly concerns? And just weigh them out. How much of my 18-hour day, 16-hour day, however much you don't sleep or don't sleep, did I really spend in Dharma? And how much? And if I put them in those kinds of terms, it really helps me look at what's going on in my mind. So I thought that was useful advice as well.